technology really could be and should be looked at as a foundation for young children, and particularly in establishing those early moments and interactions that are so valuable for young children with the adults in their lives, what we often call the circle of care. And I don't think we perceive technology in that way nowadays. We see it mostly as a tool and forget about the interactions between adults and children with that tool. Sesame Workshop has our division, which is outreach or educational outreach, and really our mission is to create multiple media tools that go out and provide a resource for families or organizations to really foster their children's development, and particularly those most at risk. So we've created initiatives that really engage the whole child. So everything from language development and literacy to health topics around nutrition and physical activity, and also social emotional, like dealing with grief. But in terms of the fundamentals of each of those initiatives, we have what we call the Sesame Workshop model. And that is always acknowledging that we're an expert in certain things, and that is in using media and knowing how young children can benefit from that media. But we also acknowledge in this model that it's the end user, the parents or the organizations that will use this material that know even more about it than we do. So the way we do this is particularly keeping always in mind that all materials are produced bilingually, and I'll say that they're really produced biculturally. And that means that the Spanish language version is its own unique version. So we gather experts at the very beginning, depending on the topic, and really get information from these experts on key messages. And then we also, during that advisory or those elements, we ask them to consider cultural and linguistic nuances, particularly for the Latino community. So that's very important. And then we go out and really test prototypes of these resources and really go out into Latino communities and get the feedback directly from the end users, whether it's families or facilitators or teachers that are working with Spanish language, or Latino families that also may be bilingual or solely English speaking. So what did we learn from this process? We learned that very much what we've heard in the advisory that you held, and that is that there's a balance between providing information so that it is general enough to be understood by everyone, whether it's in English or in Spanish, but at the same time being very sensitive to cultural nuances or differences in the way things are said, or values that are held around those concepts. So even from, let's say, looking at literacy, we know very often in the Latino community that there may be a lack of resources of books. And so we acknowledge that, and we say, how do we engage Latino families that may be primarily Spanish speaking so that they are comfortable enough to use their own experience or oral storytelling in sharing that experience with children. But we only learn that from them.